Scarcity and abundance goes beyond just the financial realm. It applies to literally every area of your life. Love, friendships, your career, your health. Let's quickly talk about the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundance mindset when it comes to manifesting abundance into your life. But let's talk about it in a way that we've never talked about it before. I've never even thought about it this way before. Simple technique that I'm going to share with you. And if you implement this into your life, it can be game changing. One of my friends, a big shout out to Sarah Troll or Trolle. My darling, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your beautiful Swedish surname. But I saw a reel that she shared today, and this sparked this inspiration into my mind and caused me to think about the concept of scarcity versus abundance in a whole new way. But a quick recap, what is it that I'm talking about with scarcity or abundance thinking? The way that I had thought about this before was, if you feel like resources are scarce, if you feel like money is really hard to come by, then you will see evidence of that more and more and more in your life. Your reticular activating system will be focused on that story, and you'll only sort of see and experience things that agree with that story that you have in your mind, as opposed to when you feel like there's an abundance of money available to you at all times, there's an abundance of ways for that money to come to you, and you feel abundant about the money that you have, then that can also positively influence your relationship with money moving forwards and the way that money can flow to you. So that's kind of like as deep as I'd ever gone into thinking about this scarcity versus abundance concept. So let me read to you what Sarah shared today on Instagram, which really helped me to think about it on a deeper level than ever before. Growing up, I feared there just wasn't enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough worth in me. Realizing that this scarcity mindset was holding me back, not only from my desired life, but from important parts of myself, was groundbreaking. Challenging this mindset, although daunting, has over and over proved to be beyond liberating. With each step of accepting myself and my unique path, the weight of scarcity is being lifted and replaced by empowerment. I learned and continue learning that my setbacks are opportunities, and shining light on my uniqueness will only foster more abundance. Today, I'm grateful for releasing scarcity. It transformed my life, leading to unexpected successes, an overflow of abundance, and endless possibilities for growth. Letting go of scarcity mindset isn't just a choice, it's an invitation to live life in abundance. Wow, we may think, oh yeah, I understand that living in an abundant mindset helps, and I understand that I shouldn't complain about when things are expensive, or I shouldn't feel negative when I receive a bill. Like maybe you've kind of had those things talked about in the manifestation world. Things like The Secret introduced me to this idea of, feeling grateful every time you receive a bill and you need to pay money out, like feeling grateful for that heats your home or provides you with internet and that kind of thing. And that's wonderful. But when she started talking about how scarcity can appear in your life, or can be a mindset about areas in your life that go beyond that. For example, it's Monday today as I record this video. I've noticed that most Mondays I wake up feeling a little bit more overwhelmed because I've had a couple of days not thinking about work, business, routine, and I kind of overwhelm myself with thinking about what are all the things that I want to achieve this week. And that quality can be channeled into good, like it's good that I'm self-motivated, it's good that I'm ambitious, that I have a desire to be productive. But how am I approaching my to-do list and the things that I want to achieve? Is that scarcity? Yes, I think, if I'm honest with myself, that I feel overwhelmed and anxious on a Monday morning as I write a long to-do list for myself, because I'm looking at my list of to-dos from a place of scarcity. And the scarcity sounds like this. It sounds like, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do all of this. What if I don't have the energy or the inspiration to create what I need to create? What if I don't have the consistency and I fall off track? So it's all about the lack of, worrying about having a lack of time, worrying about having a lack of energy, worrying about having a lack of consistency. This perspective that I was looking at my to-do list from was a scarcity perspective. So what can an abundant perspective look like with that exact same situation? First of all, I can tell myself a different story. I can tell myself, yay, how exciting. I have a whole fresh week ahead of me where I get to fill it with exciting, productive activities that are going to move my life forwards. I'm so grateful that I have an abundance of days this week to achieve the things that I want to achieve. I have an abundance of energy, and I know that I have more than enough energy to do the things I want to do. I have more than enough time to do the things that I want to do. I have more than enough skills and resources. I am more than enough to be able to do these things. When it comes to other areas in my life, like areas where I feel like I might have things where I need the right connection to help me to land an opportunity or something, right? Or to get the answers that I'm looking for. How do I feel about it? And I've been observing, okay, sometimes I feel a bit nervous. I feel a bit anxious that I might not be able to find the right connection who can lead me to the thing that I want. Is that coming from a place of scarcity? Yes, it has been. I have been under the illusion, my brain has been telling me a scarcity story, that there must be a very few amount of people who could help me with this thing. What would an abundant perspective be on this exact same subject? There are billions of people on this planet, and there's an abundance of the perfect right connections who would love to help me to make this thing happen, because it will be a win-win situation for both them and me. There's an abundance of the right people. I have access to an abundance of the right people, and there is no lack of ways that I could get the thing that I want, because if it's not through that avenue, there's an abundance of other people and avenues through which the opportunity can come to me. Another area where I identified scarcity in my thinking was around friendships. So I've been working on healing my relationship with having female friends, and I certainly used to have a limiting belief that it's hard for me to get on with other girls and it's always kind of easier for me to get on with guys. I'm kind of scared and intimidated by some women if they're kind of bitchy or gossipy or hard to trust. And I've been healing through that massively and seen different results to the point where I've got such incredible soul sisters in my life now. The friends that I used to dream of, I have manifested, which is amazing. However, you know, sometimes we have multiple identities, I always like to think of it, and that like there's the version of me that remembers how powerful she is, and sometimes the insecure teenage version of me temporarily sits in the driver's seat, and I have to remind myself that it's okay, you can sit in the passenger seat, I'm in charge, I've got this, right? But every now and then, sometimes an old insecure personality can kind of pop up or say a thought in your head, right? Let me know if anyone else gets what I'm saying and can relate to this sort of multiple identity thing. Every now and then I have an old fear or an old worry that pops up, which feels like it's going to be hard for me to make new friends. I'm moving to Spain, and what if there's just not enough people in this relatively small town who are going to be like-minded or who are going to like me? Or what if, because I'm 30, almost 31, what if it's harder for me to make new friends because everybody else has kind of got their established friends from when they were kids or when they were in their early 20s, right? Scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. That is completely untrue. It doesn't have to be true, but I have been almost like creating a bottleneck for my own abundance by using those scarcity thoughts to limit myself and limit the possibilities for myself. So how could I think about that abundantly? There are so many beautiful, open-minded, like-minded people in the part of Spain that I'm going to be moving to. I've already met some amazing, positive females in that part of Spain who are so kind, so refreshing, so supportive, and really love this version of Lucie. And this version of Lucie is a catch. She's a great person to be friends with. Who wouldn't want to be friends with me? And I don't necessarily want to be friends with anyone. I'm clear on who I am, and therefore I'm clear on the kind of friends that I want to attract. I have boundaries, I respect my boundaries, and as a result, that makes it even easier, not harder, easier for me to attract ideal, perfect friends who I resonate with, because I'm clear on who I am and what I want and what I'm looking for in friendships, right? So it can be as simple as that shift, but I want to leave you with one last thing before we round off this video. And that is, for the rest of this week, have that question in your mind. Explore, am I approaching this part of my life in scarcity or abundance? Was that thought about my life coming from scarcity or coming from abundance? If it was coming from a place of scarcity, where basically you're focused on the lack, how hard it's going to be, how rare it's going to be, how unlikely it would be, how improbable it would be, how hard it's going to be. All of those things are looking at the possibility of it happening for you from a scarce perspective. So flip it each time and ask yourself, if I were to be looking at the same situation with abundance, what would I think? What would I say? What would it sound like? What would it look like? And piece by piece, explore beyond just money, the other areas in your life: love, friendships, your career, your health, your options, the availability of opportunities for you, etc., etc. Scarcity and abundance goes beyond just the financial realm, and it applies to literally every area of your life. Let me know in the comments what areas you might have just realized right now you've been approaching from a place of scarcity as opposed to abundance. And by the way, if you feel the pull to sit down and have a one-to-one session with me over Zoom, I have a limited number of spots that I open up each month, and the details to apply for one of those spots is down in the description. I love you, I'm rooting for you. Until next time, bye.